Stu's name is hard to get.
Get the show going, man. Hurry up. Hurry up.
What?
Hurry up.
What happened to the?
Hey, why don't we get the ball at the 5, 3rd down and 2? That was bad.
Using this one. Buddy, you get cameras soon. Oh, level up this one.
Right there. He's taking a card out. He's a piece of paper. It's that close.
Dear Lord is right. Good. Hey, I've lost my train of thought completely. How you going, G?
Oh, I'm good, AJ. You?
Oh, yeah, good. What do I normally say? Hello and welcome.
Sorry,
With the
I threw
Aussie
you
guys.
off. I wasn't prepared. I had to quickly just get ready. Just
A bit
how do I
of
look? Okay.
yeah, very.
Just a bit
nice.
shiny. You just got to take the shine away.
You need one of those YouTube lights. You know the YouTubers have those circular.
I've just got one of
lights.
these, like this. Just this.
It sort of makes you look. Actually, I mean, you've got a pretty good complexion. You don't look pale, but that is the
Oh
danger.
no, we've had a little bit of sun lately. Plus, I've been standing in front of, I've been standing in front of a fire of late, just sort of letting these things catch on fire. Just doing a lot of burning of late.
Well, the Atlanta offense,
Oh,
but the Atlanta defense.
it's hard. It's hard. I must admit, I haven't watched this week's game yet. I haven't.
You haven't watched it.
And the week prior, I sort of turned it off near the end for
Oh,
a particular reason.
the week's almost done, G. So that means you're not going to watch it.
Probably not.
Who do the Falcons play this week?
We are playing. Who are we up against this week? That's a good question. Hold on, I've got it here.
I actually have no
the
idea.
Green Bay Packers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Green Bay
you're right.
Packers.
For Green Bay
Without-
Packers fans, and it's great.
Without Alan Lazard now.
Oh, that's a
Man,
shame.
we knew this season was going to be brutal in many ways, and this week has been a shock. Obviously, the Titans and Steelers, the Titans-Steelers game is, and we can expect more of these, can't we, really?
Well,
this is the first.
We have to see what happens with the Vikings, don't we, now?
Yeah, that's right. Andrew's saying Green Bay on Monday. How you going, Andrew?
Andrew, thanks for all of the work you put in.
I'm going to mention that. I will mention that.
We'll see what happens with the Vikings. So what? It's coming into Friday morning. Sup, Matty? So it's going to take a couple of days, and they'll get through and just see what happens with the Vikings. What plays were tested positive to COVID?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay. Did
I
they
don't
release
think
the
it was
names?
all players. No, I think there was a trainer.
There was a couple of trainers, wasn't there?
I think so.
Yeah.
And a bit rough on the Steelers having the Titans this week. I mean, the Steelers didn't have any positive cases. I don't believe.
No,
Just
and they're
the
probably
Titans.
and they're sort of humming along nicely. They probably want the game to go ahead.
Yeah, I dare say.
It's not like they have injuries and go, oh, thank God this came around at this time. But geez, what is it, week 4 and we're having a bye? Like, do you really want the bye? Mate, we didn't have a camp really, or we didn't have a pre-season. You're probably trying to get into your stride still a little bit.
Thank
and all of a
goodness
sudden,
the NFL
got a week off.
actually has buys, though, because this is a built-in mechanism. The thing is, if you get to a point, this is where it can become complicated. Okay, so we force the Steelers and the Titans to take their bye this week.
Yep.
Not ideal, sure.
No.
But what happens if one of these two teams are affected again later in the year? That's what
Exactly.
it becomes.
Yes.
Dave?
David? Dave,
Uh,
I was speaking to David on the phone this week, and I brought up Alan Lazard, just saying, mate, this. I must admit, when he came out, I didn't have him. It's not like I don't exactly remember I had him, but I wasn't talking him up. And mate, he's been fantastic. He looks great. Size, speed,
Yeah.
great set of hands. Aaron Rodgers trusts him.
That's a big part of it.
Oh,
If you
with,
can
with
capture-
Rodgers, that's all that with Rodgers, isn't it?
It is. You capture his trust and you're going to get targets.
Yes.
The thing is, this procedure that he's had, which seems to have come out of the blue, and they've said he's out indefinitely.
Okay. We've had surgery, so
Yes.
once you get cut open,
I know, but it was like
So
completely out of the blue. It felt
if
like.
you have core muscle, so what exactly did they do? What's the core muscle surgery? Like what part? Like you can't actually, as far as I know, you can't actually repair a muscle. You can't sew a muscle together. Is that
What's
correct?
called-
Well,
I-
I'm only going by that because I ride mountain bikes, and a few years back, the guy I ride with, one of my best mates, had a really bad stack, and he tore his hamstring muscle, not a ligament. He tore the muscle, and osteo. Oh, okay, so that's okay. Potentially, let me look it up. Thanks, Dave.
Okay, Dave.
Yeah, and
Dave,
and he said he couldn't repair. He can't sew the muscle back together. It's not like
Really?
you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So one hamstring's a little bit shorter on one leg than the other.
Oh man.
But I'm not a doctor, and I'm surprised Chris is not on saying here we are back on the AJ and G medical
medical
journal
report.
page. Yeah, medical report.
It makes
But-
already depleted Green Bay offense even more so. And I was
Devontae
looking at
Adams this week.
Devontae Adams, thankfully back.
He's back.
I believe
Okay.
back this week. Then you got MVS. You've got a couple of guys that are on the depth chart that I've never heard of.
For a team that gave the number one quarterback, who's on fire, no help in the offseason with the draft, they've just lost someone they couldn't afford to.
Man, Justin Jefferson would have looked very nice in the green and gold.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah, yeah, there we go. Yes, we are, Ganley. Sorry. On that note, we do have a reply here from Dave, our
How'd the Cats go last night?
our
Did the Cats
grumpy medic, who says muscles can't be sewn back together. I have a hole in my deltoid from it separating, splitting. So similar. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
I have a hole in my heart this year, the Falcons. So I don't think I can sew that back together at the moment. So
No. I don't know what can help that, G. I'm so sorry.
No.
And we also have, thank you, Andrew. He's
gin and tonic. That's helping.
G and T helped for sure. He's gotten a reply to us. 4 Titans players positive for COVID. Christian Fulton, cornerback. Daquan Jones, who I think might be a defensive tackle. Long slapper. Who knows? Maybe he is. Long snapper. Bo
I've known a
Brinkley.
few of those in my time. I went to one of those schools. There's a lot of slackers around. Let me tell you. It wasn't
And Kamale Correa, who's an outside linebacker and not a particularly good one. But anyway,
good. But he would have been tackling a few people. I take it. Fulton was covering somebody on the weekend.
sure.
A bit of talk.
Yeah, that's right. So, wow.
Sprayed a few germs on each other.
Yeah, there
I'm
you go.
I'm pretty sure that the visor or whatever they wear these days not helping. But
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll keep going anyway. We'll keep going because there's a bit of AFL banter
yeah,
on the YouTubes, and we won't probably go down that rabbit hole. Right, okay. But yeah, look, a very difficult season already, I think, for owners. I think in the first 3 weeks we felt a little bit, apart from the injuries we had in week 2, it's felt kind of normal, hasn't it? But now we're starting to get into some sort of, oh, yes, there is a pandemic.
I must admit too, watching the games without crowds.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier. I've found with when the AFL started up here, I found it really hard to watch a game without a crowd.
oh yeah, I agree.
But the NFL, I'm finding it a lot easier to watch without a crowd. Is it just the way that? With the crowd, without a crowd being there, and even though some of the teams still got to work on their crowd noises,
yeah.
But I'm just finding it a lot easier to watch the NFL. Maybe it's just the way that the game's played, with it being an explosive stop-start sort of game, where ours is a more flow-on and the crowd levels go up and down a lot more and whatnot, because continuous action.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm only watching in 40-minute lots on, so I get through all the games. So
yeah,
it's probably a little bit different from the games. I watched the first whole half of the Chiefs and the Ravens game,
right.
And it was different watching the game without a crowd. As in, when I just watched the plays themselves, you sort of don't notice it.
No. I wonder if it's just, as you said, I wonder if it's the stop-start nature. You know, when you watch AFL, the camera is just constantly moving and you always get like that pan across the stands, you know, especially if the camera's kind of ground level and you'll kind of watch the guys run and stuff.
So you see the background a lot, don't you? So you see that there's a crowd not there.
You see the crowd not there, and you always hear that with AFL, it's always the crowd ebbs and flows so much, right? But you're right, with NFL, it's just having kind of that background noise. I haven't found it bad at all.
No,
really.
I haven't.
It's been pretty watchable.
And I think, I don't know if I got the feeling that it affected the AFL with no crowds there.
Yeah.
Maybe it did a little bit. Where the NFL players, mate, they seem so switched on. They seem more switched on than when I watched the AFL when it came back with no crowd.
Yeah. Now, do you know if are they letting a crowd into MetLife? Are there people in MetLife?
I don't think. No, would they let a crowd in New York? New York's been one of the worst places.
I don't know, except that I just did notice, and it was kind of because I wasn't really paying attention. I just assumed there wasn't a crowd, and Dave's saying no. There's no crowd at MetLife because I heard booing in.
I have actually heard booing. Not the Giants aren't the only game that I've heard booing on from pumped in sound.
There must be some guy on the sound desk and he's just hitting all the buttons like, oh, yes, boo, yay.
which is good. Yeah, I think they're a little bit wary the first couple of weeks, and now it's just like, no one's saying anything. Let's just chuck some boos in there. Make it more – well, you have to. You got to make it more realistic. And I can't remember the game that I listened to, but I'm pretty sure they booed to an umpiring decision.
Oh, really?
Yes. I said, nah, football's back.
And it's really just one guy with all the power. Like, I'm just going to boo this.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, I can do whatever I want. A couple of comments here. Ben said, Gase is as bad with no noise as he is with noise. It's a fair comment. So obviously Adam Gase. So obviously the Jets losing today.
I haven't seen that game, but they fought back well. Like I was watching the score constantly.
They did.
So they fought back well. It's not until the end that I don't know what happened at the end, but the score sort of jumped a little bit. Yeah.
Ripien had a couple of bad interceptions.
He had 3, didn't he? 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah.
I wasn't watching it full time. I was just watching bits. But I did already see, I believe, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there's already been something said, I guess, from the owner that Gase's job is safe for,
Yeah, he's
for
gone.
now.
He's gone. Mate, that's it, isn't it? That's code for you're gone.
Yes, that's right. Andrew's saying the stadiums apparently get white noise. TV has the boos. Oh, Philly had lots of booings of Wentz when he was throwing interceptions. I mean, because they have that
Mate,
they have that panel of fans. You know how
Dude,
have you seen
yeah,
that in
yeah.
the broadcast? They have the panel. They have all these TVs set up. I guess all these boxes with the different fan feeds.
They do that here.
Yeah, they do that here.
Fan board or whatever it's called.
Fan board, and I guess they're getting the audio from that. I suppose.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
So how many people on the
Davis
fan
said
board?
that as well. That's from the TV end. It happened at
Yeah.
Philly versus Bengals. Yeah, there we go. Interesting.
Well, I have to watch that one because the one I haven't watched that game, so I haven't. I'll get round to it after we've spoken tonight. But yeah, I can't remember the game I watched, but it was it was a call for the ref made. So it was good. It was good.
Yeah. So
Like the Falcons should be kicking ass at crowd noise. Mate, we've been doing it for like 10 years, pumping in crowd noise.
absolutely. Not much to say about today's game. It was a little bit a case of the walking wounded. I think Tim Patrick had a fantastic game for the Broncos. Noah Fant was carted off. I believe that he is, quote unquote, okay as far as we know. I don't think it's a serious injury.
Yeah.
And Melvin Gordon had a good outing as well.
Two
But I mean,
touchdowns I saw.
Philip Lindsay is still dinged up. So Jamison Crowder had a good day.
100
as
yards.
well. Yep. So yeah, I mean,
Coming back from the hamstring, which was good. So that could have gone either way. So I started him in one of my leagues today. So that was in the Scott Fish Bowl. So I took the chance. So it paid off okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave says sprained ankle, high ankle sprain, but not a bad one. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's always concerning when you hear a player gets carted off, but they just kind of do it, don't they?
Not usually carted off. They're not soccer players.
Well,
no, actually, if it was a soccer player, he would have rolled around the ground like he'd been shot. Then they bring out that can of spray, and then he bounces up like nothing ever happened.
That's right. That's exactly right.
That's what they see. That's the problem. The NFL doesn't have the can of spray. Mate, it solves all problems. The World Game has been using it for a decade plus. Mate, no matter where you spray it, no matter what's happened to you, it works. It heals bones, cartilage, repairs muscles, ligaments. It's amazing. Probably gets rid of your headache. It's amazing stuff, that spray can.
Everything. Magic. Yeah. Exactly. A few things people are saying here, I'll just might highlight here. Yeah, Ben's saying, Gordon did have a 43-yard touchdown. Man, I can't believe that was an amazing one.
Okay, what does Ben mean by he's inflated Gordon's stats? Well, so what do you want him to do? You want him to get another 10 carries to get the 43 yards and then the touchdown? That's right. Come on, Ben. You're better than that, mate. You're better than that.
Well, he deserved it, but it was just, it was...
but that really, I'm not having a go at Ben here.
No.
At all, but I am. What really, how many analysts turn around and go, you take that 60-yard touchdown run or you take that 80-yard pass and it was a broken... But...
You can't.
You can't.
No.
These are things... This is what gives people numbers every week.
Yeah, true.
Look at Tyreek Hill. Look at Super Bowl. Tyreek Hill get behind the blow and play in the Super Bowl on that. What was it? 3rd and 17 or whatever it was with Patrick Mahomes, and he threw the bomb.
Yes. Yeah.
In the fourth quarter. Okay, now we're going to take that away. If it wasn't for Tyreek Hill catching that, he would have had a crap day. But guess what? He did get 40 yards, 50 yards down the field, and he did catch the goddamn thing.
Yes. No, very, very good point. Yep. So 43-yard touchdown. Darnold had a running 46-yard touchdown. That was pretty good. Oh, pretty good.
That inflated these stats.
That was great. Jerry Jeudy Matt's just put up here. Jerry Judy looks the real deal, G.
Yeah.
I mean, it helps not having Cortland Sutton, I guess.
I must admit, like we had the Jerry Judy, CD Lamb type conversation. I still think CD Lamb is a better looking wide receiver than Jerry Judy.
Yep.
I think Jerry Judy gets open. Like he's always done that, and he's doing it now in the pros, and he makes it look easy. But once the ball's in his hand, CD Lamb looks far more explosive, and something could happen than Jerry Judy looks.
Yes. Yep.
I might be being a bit harsh, but Jerry Judy doesn't seem to have the after catch that CD Lamb has.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Dave's just giving us this update on Noah Fant per Schefter at 3 p.m. our time. All good, minor. He will be fine. So, yep,
Okay.
that probably means 6 to 8 weeks.
Anybody, let me know how the Tigers are going, but only for the winners. Don't let me know after losing.
Now,
Any other news?
Look, not really. Oh, look, I've got plenty. Let me just give a shout out to Andrew because he's done our work for us. He sent through this amazing. I'm showing it up on camera, so if you're listening to the audio version of this, it doesn't work. I realize, but several pages of stats. This is amazing.
Your job's in trouble.
Yeah.
You're on shaky ground at the moment, man. I can tell you right now, very shaky ground.
Andrew, thank you so much.
I have spoken to a few people during the week about your input this year so far.
Yeah, I know it's been average. No, this is fantastic, and what I'm going to do, G, because we're basically doing a very similar thing to what we did last week, but we're putting together basically flex teams.
We want to put a team together this week instead of the way I'm looking at it now. There's probably not over exaggerating. There's probably 21 to 22,000 NFL fantasy podcasts. And look, there's people. Granted, there's people that do it for a full-time job, and they're over it far more than we are. But we have our opinions of what we think. We watch the games, and we're entitled to ours, and we put them out there. And if it helps your mum, my mum, that's great, and a few other people. It doesn't help poor Noah. He just gets upset. He go every 9 o'clock on a Friday night when he has to be quiet, playing PlayStation. But we want to do something and involve everybody a little bit more.
That's a great idea.
So let's do it from that. And we're also giving, these are guys that might be your flex players, or you might be looking at this week anyway. So in a roundabout way, we're giving you some guys.
So as we go through each position, I'm going to read the stats that Andrew's given us because it'll give it's basically like news of the week, and it'll give us good context to each position, actually. So why don't we start with quarterback?
Do we have to pay him for this? Man, I'm broke.
Well,
mate, we're in COVID lockdown.
Man, it's very impressive what he's put together here. So
okay, I'm going to have to slip him a few bucks.
Yeah. So listen, let's start with the quarterback position, G.
Okay, so what we did tonight was put together a team from our usual from the fantasy pros, half point PPR.
Yep.
And we just put together a standard team. And if anybody wants to put their teams in, even tonight, if you want to throw them up on the chat, we'll write them down and we'll keep score.
Several people have, which is great.
Yep. Several. Obviously, my mum told some of the ladies down at Bingo, and they're interested as well now. But yeah, so we're just gonna. It's the usual. It's outside the top 12 quarterbacks, the top 24 wide receivers, running backs, the top 12 tight ends, and the flex, which goes across the whole board. And quarterback. Did I mention quarterbacks? The top 12 QBs.
Yep.
So let's put together a team outside of that standard. Half point PPR, just a standard team. So one quarterback, 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, one tight end, and one flex. No. Hang on, G, didn't you catch it there? Dude, he's not meant to mention about that stuff, mate. Someone from what is it? The tax department. What?
Yeah. I don't think we've got any ATO fans.
I want it on the races.
That's right. You have to declare it if you win it at the races, don't you? Do you still declare it as income?
Well, it's not my profession.
What your profession is betting at the races?
No, well, it's not. If it's your profession, you might have to. But if you're just having a bet on the weekend, you don't have to declare it, do you?
I don't know.
You don't have to. You don't have to declare tax lotto. You don't get taxed on lotto because the tax that you pay is on the ticket that you buy. You've already paid the tax when you buy the ticket.
Oh, right. Okay. All right. I've got no idea. All right, let's keep going. So listen, to launch quarterback, I'm going to read out what Andrew's given me some interesting quarterback stats for the week.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, 887 yards, 9 touchdowns with 0 interceptions through 3 weeks. The guy is absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
Absolutely on fire. And you wouldn't have believed it with the offense that the Packers have put around him. You wouldn't have believed it possible. Playing the Falcons, who have given up 1,051 passing yards over 3 weeks. That Falcons D. What D is the right term?
Exactly. It's just another.
Deshaun Watson has been sacked 13 times.
Not burning this bloke.
No, never do that. Has been sacked 13 times in his 3 games. His opponent, Minnesota, only have 4 sacks through 3 weeks. So that's interesting.
That's about the double.
That's quite possibly. Josh Allen.
Sorry, who was that?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh.
Josh Allen. My goodness, Josh Allen. Only player in NFL history with at least 1,000 passing yards, 10 passing touchdowns, and 2 rushing touchdowns through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Mate, he looks fantastic. Has he thrown an interception?
Oh, that I don't know.
Mate, he still has trouble hitting some targets. Like, Matt, the amount of balls that are thrown at guys' ankles are still there. Like simple passes. You know, to maybe Singletary coming out of the backfield. You know, like he's 7 meters to your right hand side and hits him at the ankles. So he's still having problems in that regards. But man, the guy's just full of confidence at the moment, and it shows.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Nick Foles starting against the Colts for the Bears. He came in like a man possessed when he came into the game. Did he throw 3 touchdowns?
Oh, mate,
I have a feeling he did.
You're asking me, mate. You're asking someone who watches like 100 games in 40 minutes, and you're asking me about a particular player. 1 interception for Allen. Thanks, Andrew. Just one.
Thanks, Andrew. Just 1. That's unbelievable. Yeah. So Nick Foles, the Colts have only given up 396 passing yards in 3 games. That Colts defense, they are playing out of their minds. Probably helps. DeForest Buckner, what an amazing off-season acquisition.
Yeah, inflated numbers, though, because they played Minnesota last week.
And also the Colts have sacked the quarterback 9 times. That is amazing.
So who's leading the league? It'd have to be Washington,
sacks.
Wouldn't it? It'd have to be Washington.
Leading in sacks. Washington has got a lot. They
didn't look as good last week when Chase Young went out.
No, that's right. But I mean, they've got some big bodies on that D line for sure. Ryan Kerrigan's a bit of a underrated talent for sure. I don't know who's leading the league in sacks. Someone will tell us. Russell Wilson. Yeah. Russell Wilson.
Every time he puts something up, it's going to cost us like $5.
Yeah. Cha-ching. Russell Wilson threw 3 games, 14 touchdowns, most in NFL history, 139 passer rating, second highest in NFL history, 76.7% completion percentage, which is the 5th highest in NFL history. Man, it helps when you've got receivers like Metcalf and Lockett. Oh, those guys. Wow. They are playing fantastic.
Metcalf, Metcalf is a bit of, mate, you run until you pass the finish line, don't you?
Oh, yeah, that play. Oh.
That cost me a win this week.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you get? You don't get the yardage. Do you get the yardage?
Was it
I
a
don't think you get. Yeah,
Was it a fumble?
They punched
Oh,
it
you
out of
get
his
the
hand.
yardage.
They call it fumble. Do you still get the yardage?
Yeah, you get the yardage.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
But then the fumble, I mean,
the
depending
fumble,
on the
there's 6
league.
points.
Well, no, it won't be 6 points. The fumble could be like -2 or something.
No. But I mean, okay, you -2 for the fumble, plus you lost the 6 points because it should have been a touchdown. So that's an 8-point loss straight away for you.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. Okay, so speaking of,
Can I just say, if you picked up Lockett and Metcalf together, and you're running them on your team, and if you're lucky enough to go and get Wilson, mate, you are. But I've got Metcalf and Lockett on one team together.
You've got him in Scottish, haven't you?
Yeah, mate. I took them back to back. Mate, I am just absolutely wrapped.
That is unbelievable. You're right. Often I think in fantasy we can be a little bit, we look at players on the same team and, they're on the same team, I better not take them. But at the end of the day, like our friend Chris Ganley has said, quote unquote, it's just all points, right? It's about the points.
Doesn't matter where they come from.
What does it matter if they're on the same team?
And
if
look,
they're good,
I picked them up purely because of Russell Wilson.
Right. Man, isn't he good? Isn't
Mate,
he good?
how good Russell Wilson's great. How good has Tyler Lockett been?
Yep.
As an NFL football player.
Oh, friggin' amazing. Amazing.
Every week. I don't know about Lockett this week, blah, blah, blah. Every week he produces.
Yes.
Well, you can't say it, but basically every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
He produces.
Yes.
3 touchdowns last week. Highlight. The dude's almost uncoverable. And you hear all these guys come in the league now. This guy can't be covered. This guy can't. Lockett never gets spoken about.
No. Incredibly underrated still.
Has he got like a Harry Potter cloak of invisibility that he's just sort of he just throws over and then all of a sudden boom. It's like,
where'd he go?
And all of a sudden bang, he's like some of the couple of the touchdowns, there's no one within 10 yards of him.
No, that's right. That's right. Hey, Dave's put up a thing here. I think he got the where is it? Alden Smith. I was going to say, Alden Smith, he's been out of the league for 5 years. Obviously, when he was with the Niners, he was an amazing talent. Lots of problems, personal problems. Out of the league for 5 years. He now, I think, leads the league with 5 sacks. We have someone Andrew put up here. So these are the leading sack teams.
Okay.
Steelers 16, Philly 14, Washington 13.
Okay.
So
now, does he get $5 for every team, or does he just get $5 just for one tweet, for one message?
one message. I would think.
Okay. I'm going to have to reduce his rate if he's going to get based on every team that he puts up.
Okay, so we're picking a quarterback outside the top 12.
We are.
For our flex team, our special flex team. G, do you want me to go first?
You can go first, mate, because you probably haven't done one, have you? Did you understand the message I sent you this week? Did you? I actually sent you a voice message this week so that I could put everything succinctly into a voice. I know my English isn't great, so maybe you misunderstood. But even when you put out the tweet this week, you left out the fact that how it was sort of working. So I had to put another tweet underneath with the rules, basically.
But in fairness, you sent like a 1.5 minute thing where you explained it, and then you said, just put that in a tweet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to express that.
Mate, you're a teacher. You meant to, like, as a teacher, aren't you meant to go through, like, your students hand in essays? Aren't you able to cut out all the bullshit?
I guess
that's your job, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that is true. That is true. Well, listen, let me get to my quarterback.
Yes.
I'll quickly change the subject from my poor understanding of your instructions. Look, I went with this is an AJ favorite, and I often go back to him, but he's playing well this year, G. This is back to
and hey, guess what? We don't take the top 12, and I bet he's at number 13.
He is. He just happens to be. If he was
I did.
that.
Granted, I did have him down, but I want a bit more excitement in mine.
Okay, yeah, I did. So I went for Jared Goff.
Yeah.
He's thrown for 863 yards, 70% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They're playing the Giants this week, and the Giants' D is porous. There's your word for the night. They just let Nick Mullins and that
I know what porous means.
That Niners offense. Oh, being a painter, you know what porous means.
Oh, well, all over it.
You're all over it.
Yeah.
Depleted Niners offense. They just moved the ball at will against that Giants.
It's porous is a very good word to use for the Falcons' defense at the moment.
Non-existent is another word.
Non-existent, yes. Extinct.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. All right.
Hey, I'm drinking some. I bought a new gin tonight. I didn't realise that Ryan Reynolds bought a gin company called Aviator.
Reynolds.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he bought it, I think 12 months ago. He just celebrated recently his anniversary of owning gin. So I thought I'd go down Aviator. Never had it before. Didn't even know it existed.
Right.
Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
Well, there you go.
What are you looking at? 1 litre. I think it's about $75 around there for a bottle.
For a litre.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's on the high end, though, isn't it?
It is on the higher end. There's some expensive gins. Let me just tell you, mate, I absolutely love Dan Murphy's. Like some of the some of the bottles are so cool looking. There's some very, very cool looking bottles of whatever. Like there's some great gins out there. Being a gin fan,
yep.
I thought it worked out. I probably need about $2-3 grand to get one of every bottle.
Yep.
But I'll get there. Okay, now I was just going to say, now you've got the Rams. Now the Rams are, this is the problem I had. This is why I didn't go with Jared Goff, only for the fact that he's only thrown at 45.85% of the time.
Oh, so you're saying they're mostly a run offense?
They're mostly a run offense at the moment.
It's pretty close to 50-50.
And it is pretty close. Oh, it's at 50. Well, if you call 45, 55 almost close.
Yeah, it's close.
I am concerned about the future of Australia. And now, are they playing at home this week?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So they
SoFi Stadium.
At home, they actually drop when they play at home. They're at 44.4%.
Oh.
So they drop 1%.
It's because they're looking at that really amazing video board.
Mate, it is the coolest stadium. It is
and the outdoor, indoor.
When they pan back and do look down the whole field and you see all the stands above.
Yeah.
Like I'd hate to be in the nosebleed because that is oxygen level seating. They have to supply oxygen up there. They have to. Because that's a long way up.
Yeah,
that's
but in fairness, I do actually kind of like...
Your favourite stadium?
I do like it's a bit of a Southern California thing, actually, but a bit of a California thing, I guess you could say, is that indoor-outdoor thing. Like all the malls are like that in California.
Yes. It is,
Covered malls.
That's exactly what it's like.
Yeah.
And the thing I found, I think, was it when they played, was it the Colts and the Vikings played? They played at the Colts Stadium, and you got all the shadows from all the, from they let the light in, but you got all the shadows. Where the way this is made, you do get shadows because you have structure, but they're not. It's not like it's it's in and out of shade. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's got that feeling of openness.
Yes, it does. I love it.
Adrian's drinking milk.
Yeah, sorry, it's Bailey.
Pepto Bismol.
It's Bailey's. It's Bailey's. Cheers, Dave.
I like pina colada.
I'm getting caught in the rain.
Caught in the rain. Okay, now.
I'm not into yogurt. That's
yogurt?
Isn't it?
No, it's
I'm
yoga.
not. If you're not into health, or is it health foods? Yoga.
No, is it yoga?
Not into yoga or yogurt?
Yogurt? No, it's not into yoga, isn't it? Yoga's way cooler than yogurt.
It's not on my playlist, G.
Hey, mate, we all have songs that we grew up with that we made up the words or what we thought were the words of the song and then realised, 15, 20 years later that we've been singing the wrong thing and must have sounded like absolute idiots.
Yoga.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Okay, my quarterback this week is I want a bit of spice. I want a bit of sizzle. I want to watch someone who's going to make it fun. And mate, we've talked about him every week, and he's going to talk about him again this week, and that's Ryan Fitzmagic. It's not going to be tragic this week. It's magic this week. All right, there we go. Fitzmagic against the Seahawks without Jamal. Thank you, Adam. That's Adam. Andrew, thank you very much,
Jamal Adams. Yeah. Great minds think alike, obviously. So, yeah, Andrew's got Fitzmagic as well.
Yeah, I've got Fitzmagic. Mate, the Seahawks offense, mate, is obviously rolling, so that's one. So they're going to fall behind possibly. And even if they don't fall, mate, it's going to be a shootout. We just spoke about what Russell Wilson's doing with this offense.
Yep.
It's going to be high scoring. Actually, this will be one of those games where it's like 10-7 or 9-7. Yeah, it'd be something like that. One of these, like you expect these big games, and we can get those big games. All of a sudden, it's just a low scoring. It won't be that low, obviously. So the Seahawks against QBs are ranked 31st. They have given up the most yards of 1,319 yards. Only the second worst is the Falcons, which will get a fair bit of airplay tonight. And they've given up 6 TDs. So that's 28.65 fantasy points to quarterbacks on average they've given up this year. Now, the reason it's going to be not a high-scoring game, it could easily be a high-scoring game, is the fact that the Dolphins are ranked, I think they're ranked 29th against quarterbacks. And they're giving up 23. So you got two teams going up against each other. They just give up massive points to the offense that they're playing against. So then you can take into account the fact that Chris Carson, how bad? Can we just talk about the Gator role, the tackle on Chris Carson? Did you see it?
Oh yeah, I did. Yep.
Seriously, the only reason you're doing that is to seriously hurt the player you just tackled.
Yes.
Has anything happened? Has there been any?
I don't believe
consequence of the tackle?
Don't believe so.
How is it not any consequence of the tackle?
This is my favorite map of this game.
Don't know.
That's just a really low.
But Pete Carroll should be
despicable play.
Yeah, Pete Carroll should be jumping up and down, like
because it's not only the fact that he did the alligator roll or crocodile, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's
the fact that. Okay, he could roll with it, but it's the fact that someone was also impeding the fact that he couldn't roll with he couldn't do, the Crocodile Dundee where he goes for a better grip and sort of you get free.
What?
You haven't seen when He didn't like the grip he had on him, so he let go for a second. That's the worst mistake the Croc ever made. No? Yeah, remember
No,
Crocodile Dundee?
It's a long time.
Okay. Anyway, so if you're taking the fact that Chris Carson's got the strain knee, now he has practiced this week.
I believe so.
You got the fact that Miles Gaskin is probably the back. Forget about Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard's only good when it's inside the 1 yard. Jordan Howard is 2 touchdowns for the game, 2 carries, 2 yards.
It's Mike
That's
Talbot.
Perfect example.
Mike
He's
Talbot.
Mike Talbot. He's exactly Mike Talbot. So, just a few seconds. Fitzpatrick is coming off back-to-back 24 point games, fantasy point games. Now, he has scored, if you go back into last year, he has scored 24-plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games.
That is amazing.
I think I think this is, I'm just going off the top of my head here, but maybe from halfway through last year, maybe around week 7, 9, somewhere like that, only 3 quarterbacks have outscored him in fantasy. I know one of them is Lamar Jackson.
You know,
I can't tell you the other 2, sorry, off the top of my head, but
I realize this is probably an incredibly stupid thing to say, but if he was more consistent, he would be really good. Which you could say for a lot of people.
you could say that for a lot of quarterbacks. No, you're right. I know what you mean, though, by that. I understand what you mean.
Because he's
Like, if
no
he didn't
doubt
have-
talented.
And mate, he's got no fear. Like,
Yeah.
he's to me, is he a gunslinger?
Yes.
He doesn't have the arm of a gunslinger. He has the mentality of a gunslinger.
Yes. I know you hate that term. You hate the way that gets used.
It does get thrown around a fair bit. Like, anybody has got a rocket for an arm is a guns. No. It's, to me, a gunslinger is far more mentality than it is the ability to throw a bullet down the field.
It's like Brett Favre.
Brett Favre had because he had the mentality and
Yes.
and just the fact that he had an arm that he could do it as well.
Yes.
But to me, a gunslinger is, I'm always going to be able to outdraw the person that is standing 20 yards in front of me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Favre would throw it into triple coverage.
Yeah, whether or not you're quicker
Not
than
care.
the guy, whether or not you're quicker than the guy you're about to go down in the shootout with.
Yeah.
The fact is, the mentality is that I am quicker.
Yeah.
I believe that I'm quicker than him.
Yes, yeah.
So I'll go and risk my life because I think I'm quicker. That's
But
how
you
you
know,
end up.
Fitzmagic doesn't have an ego on him at all.
Oh no, I don't know. No, mate. Like we said last week, he's just enjoying the whole experience at the moment. And the Seahawks are giving up the most fantasy points to skill position players. Like, if you get running backs, wide receiver, and quarterbacks, and you put them all together,
Right.
and you get like the Play-Doh and you stick it all together and you mash it into one big disgusting ball, and it always ends up, for some reason, it always ends up brown or purple. But, mate, they have given up 127.5 PPR points per week.
Wow.
You know who the worst is?
No.
Falcons.
No.
Okay, so
I should have guessed that.
no QB this year has been under 23 points versus the Seahawks. So the Dolphins are averaging, as we said, the run pass split. The Dolphins are averaging 54.5.
Yep.
But when they're at home, they average 60. They've been at 69.4, which is the second highest, and they're at home this week. So there you go.
Wow. Okay.
Sorry, that was a long Fitz magic. But we get sidetracked, and that's what happens with us. We go down a few rabbit holes, and people stop listening.
That's right. Well, let's go to running back, G. Oh, hang on a second. So I'll go to Andrew's stats first. So running back, Aaron Jones. Oof. What a season he is having. 303 yards, playing the Falcons, who have given up 113 rushing yards per game. Aaron Jones has looked great.
He's
Dalvin
only
Cook,
Is it only 113?
yeah, actually, that's not a lot, actually,
That's
is
not-
it?
That's
It's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Combined.
If you got a couple of running backs going, one might get 70, the other might get 40, and you go, that's not a bad day.
Yeah, that isn't too bad.
Yeah, you sure it's not 213?
100. No, because they're getting killed in the air.
Oh,
don't
they're
forget,
getting killed. That's 213 and 400 through the air.
Dalvin Cook, 294 yards on the season, playing Houston, who's given up, here you go, 188.3 yards per game. They're most in the NFL.
Okay.
So Houston giving up the most. James Robinson, the absolute waiver wire darling of the season, the waiver wire ad of all ads. 339 most scrimmage yards through 3 games by an undrafted free agent in NFL history. Yep, that's pretty appropriate.
Yep.
Playing Cincinnati, who are giving up 181.7 rushing yards per game. So
the defensive line's as good as their offensive line. Is that what you're
yeah, I
telling
think
me?
they're getting Geno Atkins back this week, which will
That'll
make
help.
a hell of a difference. But I'm not 100%.
How old is Geno Atkins now?
Oh, he's getting there. Might be 30.
I think he was 30 like 3 years ago. I don't think
maybe, but he's pretty talented. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, who have looked fantastic. Here you go, Dave, some Browns content. Both are in the top 15 for rushing yards, playing the Cowboys, who are giving up 32.3 points per game, which is third in the NFL. Hunt is day-to-day and may not play this week, however.
That's good. I've got Chubby in a heap of teams.
Oh, my word. Andrew's just adding here, Falcons are down at 12th best rushing defense. Oh, 12th best.
That's okay.
That's sort of average. Yeah.
Well, it's in the better half.
Yes. Dave's got an age for Geno Atkins there, officially 845. Myles Gaskin, hasn't he been a surprise? Playing Seattle, who despite giving up 497.3 total yards, which is most in the NFL, and 28.7 points per game, are only giving up 66.7 rushing yards, which is the second best.
Mate, this is an air raid game.
Yes. David Johnson has played 90% or more snaps week 2 and 3. Duke Johnson should play this week, which should reduce David's snaps. Although I must say they haven't been playing Duke Johnson a lot. I mean, I know he's been injured the last couple of weeks, but I think they're riding the DJ train until, that he runs out of coal or whatever. So, which they should, given that they gave up.
Maybe not. Well, so obviously Hughes is not helping the environment at all. They don't care about the environment.
I don't think so. Big oil country. Okay, so running backs, G, we're picking 2.
We are picking 2.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I've gone a little bit risky here, and I might.
I like risky. I've got a risky one.
risky?
I've got a real risky one here.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, mine. Okay, I'm rolling the dice. I'm going to go Jeffrey Wilson versus the Eagles. Now, Raheem Mostert hasn't officially been ruled out yet, but I don't think he's going to play.
So you go in the Jordan Howard effect. You're going for touchdown over yards.
Oh, yes, sort of, because yes, you are alluding to the fact that he had 12 attempts for 15 yards and a touchdown, but he did have 3 receptions for 54 yards and a touchdown as well, right? But mind you, the Eagles have been pretty stout against the run, 9th fewest PPR points per opportunity to running backs. But Jerick McKinnon is also dinged up. So Jeffrey Wilson could get some sneaky opportunity. G.
So, no, I'm just applying a bit more makeup.
Yeah.
Starting to look a bit shiny. Starting to be a bit hot in here. Starting to get sweaty.
So, yeah, Jeffrey Wilson, a bit of a roll of the dice.
No, I like that. Okay, so my first one I've got here, pretty basic. I think he was we can't use 24. I think he might be at number 26. And that is Ronald Jones up against the Chargers. Now, the Chargers have been fantastic against running backs this year, AJ.
Kenneth Murray. Ooh, playing well.
Yes. So, and they're yet to allow a TD. You have to be pretty happy with that as a Chargers fan.
To a running back.
Yes. And look, the Tampa backfield is seriously for a fantasy person this year, it makes a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah. Terrible.
An absolute running back nightmare. Like, who do you start? Do I even start either of them? Unfortunately, I have both of them because I picked them because they were on separate teams when I picked them in the Scott Fish Bowl, and now they're playing together. So it's been a bit hard. But this week, it doesn't look like Leonard Fournette's going to go.
Yeah, I believe not.
So that makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to give Ronald Jones. Like, honestly, Ronald Jones, take away the touchdowns that Leonard Fournette scored, and let's face it, the holes were like huge.
How big?
They were huge. They were Titanic size holes. Like, he's not going to miss those. I think Ronald Jones, when he gets half a chance, he's looked a far better running back. He's more explosive.
Yeah.
So I'll put Ronald Jones in there this week. The Chargers are ranked 6th against the run, giving it 18.3 fantasy points. Well, I don't know who else is going to get touch any. No, well, you've got LaShawn McCoy there. LaShawn McCoy.
Peyton Barber would be ahead of
Peyton Barber's at the Redskins, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. So maybe he won't get the ball.
So he probably won't get he might get the ball, but it won't be for the Tampa Bay anyway.
Yeah.
But, they've given up 197 yards, the Chargers, 112 and one receiving TD. And that's the thing too, is Ronald Jones catching a lot of balls this year as well. So I put Ronald Jones in just because there's basically outside of LaShawn McCoy,
yep,
who's had I think he's had like maybe off the top of my head, maybe 13 touches so far.
Okay.
He's going to get more obviously this week, but the big part of him is going to go to Ronald Jones. So who's your second guy?
My second guy, I put Antonio Gibson.
He's not there yet.
No, he's not.
I must admit, I wasn't high on Antonio Gibson, and I think I'm the only one who's not.
Yeah, and
I just didn't know what to make of him when I watched him. I didn't know what to make of him.
Yeah, and I just don't know what's going on with that Washington backfield. And they don't have a lot of weapons in that offense. I'm kind of waiting for him to get his opportunity. So it's a little bit of a dice roll. Maybe not even a very good one. I'll put up what Andrew said here. I thought about these guys as well. So Andrew said J.K. Dobbins. I just don't quite look. Mark Ingram looked terrible in the KC. We didn't talk about the KC Ravens game.
Yeah,
but Ingram looked awful. I mean, Gus Edwards looked better.
Gus the Bus did look better.
Yeah, Ingram looked completely spent.
Yeah, it's getting to the point now. It's the Bus and J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know whether it's quite Dobbins' time yet. Not quite yet.
But when Dobbins gets the ball, you think something's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Ingram gets the ball, and it's just like run into the pile, run into the pile, run into the pile, run into the pile.
Bad. Yeah. No, he didn't look good.
Mate, what is he, 30? I think, mate,
he looked done.
He looks done. He does.
He looked done.
He looks done.
Andrew's also put Rex Burkhead in here, who is having a fantastic
he had the 3 touchdowns last week.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I think James White is back. Dave has also said James White is back.
He's back this week.
That obviously complicates the issue. And it's that whole Patriot running back thing. You just can't trust them.
No.
It's hard to trust. Like, this is the thing. If you chase Patriot running backs, if you put we could be proven completely wrong, but you could put Rex Burkhead in this week and he could just give you like almost nothing.
Yes.
Oh, and Matt's saying here, Damian Harris, I think, is
He
back.
is back. Yes, he is.
Well, now he's the guy who actually I've got a bit of hope in.
And Sonny Michel's he's still there.
He's still there. So it's just like a mess of a backfield, isn't it?
Yep.
For fantasy purposes, it is. Okay. So, G, who did you have?
My second one. I'm going like way out here because the guy that runs this team, that coaches this team, is just like it's like you could bang your head against the wall until you knock yourself out. It's just what are you doing? And that's DeAndre Swift, like with Matt Patricia. What are you? I understand that Adrian Peterson's running for like 4.2, 4.3 yards, a carry. But mate, seriously, you're not going anywhere this year. You can see that. You're not going to. You go and draft someone, and you got Adrian Peterson, who's he's become the bane. Whatever team he goes to, it's just he's destroying whatever running back that you had hoped for in whatever team that he goes to. And I'm not taking anything away from Adrian Peterson, mate, because he plays because he knows that every time he carries the ball, I'm playing for my life, sort of, every time he carries the ball, okay? He knows his age.
How old is he now, G?
34? I was going to say 34. I thought that sounds too old, but it doesn't sound too old, does it?
No, Gore could be like 36. How old's Gore?
I don't know. 40?
I don't think he's 40.
No, he's not 40. But maybe Frank Gore's going to play until the age of, like he gets like 3.7 yards a carry still. Maybe he'll stop when he's 37.
Yeah.
Once his age is over the amount of yards he can get per carry, he's going to give it away. Swift Gore, bad coaches make bad. Mate, exactly right, man. How this guy is not getting more of the football? Like I really don't like Matt Patricia.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe Matt Patricia is his own person. Do you know what I mean? And from a coaching point of view.
He wants to be Bill.
Whether or not he wants to be Bill, but maybe Bill is so in his head that he just can't have his own thoughts.
Right.
Not every team has a running back with a committee. Like a lot of teams have committees of, 2, but we know the Patriots have a committee of 4. Not every team has a committee of 4 running backs, Matt. You know what I mean?
No.
DeAndre Swift is without doubt the most dynamic running back they have on that team.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this week I'm going to put DeAndre Swift in there that I'm hoping for some stupid reason that maybe Matt Patricia, which is not going to happen because they won last week in Arizona. And as I said, Peterson's running for like 4.3 yards a carry. He's getting all the work. So it's probably not going to happen, but I'm hoping this week they're up against the Saints and that you can't run on the Saints. They stopped Ronald Jones. They stopped Josh Jacobs. So they stopped Aaron Jones. Okay, Aaron Jones scored a touchdown, but Jacobs only had 88. Aaron Jones only had 69 yards on the ground. Now, for Aaron Jones this year, that's like, what the hell are you doing, Aaron?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
So maybe this week will be the week that Adrian Peterson just gets held up and maybe at some stage he goes, well, maybe we got to throw the ball to our running backs and get the running back who's a pass catching back.
Yes.
Because this is how we're going to beat the Saints or at least compete with the Saints this week because you can't run against them. So I'm just throwing one out there and hoping that maybe he catches 8 balls and he does something special with one of those catches.
He's often been misquoted, G, but was it Einstein?
There we go. The
who
Alliance have
said-
averaged between 103 and 105 yards per game, rushing for 3 straight. It's different, right? But, mate, like, yeah, the Lions have averaged 103, 105. Mate, is that 103 yards a game? Really? Is that really
not
ringing your
necessarily
bell?
100
It's not
yard
bad.
rusher, though. Yeah, it's not bad.
But
It's not bad.
yeah.
No, what I was going to say was it Einstein who said if you do something again and you expect a different result, then you're a fool?
Is that
Something like that.
Einstein? You see that?
I think it's been
philosophical?
misquoted. I think it is attributed to Einstein, but I don't know.
Is
if it's
it?
actually-
Okay. Well, you should know. You're the school teacher, dude. I'm just
Yeah,
a
I think
painter.
it's been incorrectly.
Okay.
I think it's been incorrectly attributed to Einstein, but
Okay.
but anyway, yeah, Matt
Let's-
Patricia.
Yeah. Let's move on. Wide receivers. Let's get through this puppy.
Okay, let's do it. So wide receivers. Oh, hang on, let me
Give
go
me
to
your
Andrew's.
two. Give me your
Andrew's
two.
list first. I'll give you some facts. DeAndre Hopkins leads the NFL with 356 receiving yards, playing Carolina, who give up 258.3 receiving yards per game.
Don't worry about throwing against Carolina. Just run. They've given up like 36 touchdowns in a year and a bit.
Yep. He's got a note here about Alan Lazard had surgery today. Devontae Adams back at training. Yep, we know that. Miami receivers playing Seattle, who give up 430.7 receiving yards and score lots of points themselves. Means lots of passes by Fitzmagic, which is what you said before.
Yep.
Mike Evans, stats from the last game: 2 receptions on 4 targets, 2 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Godwin will miss this week's game.
Mate,
however.
easy way to make 14. What is that? 14 points in fantasy with 2 catches.
That's right. DJ Chark, training on a light basis, should play this week against Cincinnati.
Yeah, they need him to play. That
They
offense
do.
evolves around him. Well, they need him to stretch the field, and they really need him to help out the mustache. Mustache is getting a little bit ahead of himself.
Visca looks good. Have you seen? What do you think of LaVisca?
Oh, great.
He looks
Mate,
good.
exactly. If you get the ball in his hand, the guy's a bruiser.
He looks good, I reckon.
It all came down for him when he came out of college. It was all based around the fact that can you stay healthy? Had nothing to do with the talent that he had. It's whether or not you could stay healthy on the football field.
Yep, absolutely. Raiders wide receivers, they're in a little bit of strife this week. Henry Ruggs and Brian Edwards both out.
A little bit.
Yep. And the Raiders are playing Buffalo, which means they're going to be chasing points. Expect Hunter Renfro.
Oh, don't. Shh.
What? Yeah, okay.
Wide receivers.
Yep.
You spoil the love for me all the time.
Okay, sorry. Shall I go to my wide receiver?
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro. No,
Mate,
No,
I
really.
would be married to you, mate. You're like my wife, Tracy. Just I got a headache tonight. Just spoil all the fun.
have you got Hunter Renfro as well?
I do have Hunter Renfro. Is that who you've got?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, talk about him.
Well, what is there to say apart? He had a fantastic game
Mate,
last
he had
week.
Mate, he had a great game last week. 6 for 84, 1 TD versus the Patriots. The Buffalo haven't been able to stop slot guys all year, right?
No.
Jamison 7 and 115, 1 TD. That's 24.5 fantasy points. Isaiah Ford, who's only played 1 good game, just happened to be against Buffalo.
Yeah.
7 for 76, 14.6 fantasy points. Cooper Kupp, 6 for 107, 1 TD, 25.7 fantasy points. Runner Renfro, he's the only, mate, he's the king of the Vegas Strip this week because
He
there
is.
is no one else on the show.
Well, I dare say,
who's the dude with the black hair that's been in Vegas for like 40 years?
if you're super desperate, Nelson Aguilar will probably have to catch some balls because there's no one else.
Be the first time in his career.
Yeah, you'll have to be desperate though. But Renfro and Waller have
Can
had.
someone please tell me who the guy in Vegas Strip, who's like 80 years old, the women love him and he dyes his hair jet black and plays on the Vegas Strip, sings and stuff. I can't think of his name. Do you know his name?
Elvis?
No, he's still alive. Someone will tell me I can't think of his name. But that's who Hunter Renfro is this week. because he doesn't actually own any Tigers, so he can't be those other two dudes.
There's only
Like,
one
who-
of them.
Oh, yeah, one of them got mauled, didn't he?
One of them got eaten. Yes,
One of them got eaten.
by the tiger. Yes.
We're not laughing. That's not
We
funny.
shouldn't laugh about that. No,
Okay, who's your other wide receiver?
it's very serious. Oh, my other wide receiver is Jarvis Landry. Just for you, Dave. Now Jarvis has had.
I did think
a
about
very-
Jarvis.
He's had a very average.
Slow.
Oh, we've got a few
Slow.
suggestions here. Tom Jones, is that who it is?
Nah, it's not Tom Jones. Come on, do better than
Wayne Newton.
that. Andrew's on fire. Thank you. Boom, Wayne Newton. That's Wayne Newton.
There you go.
Perfect.
Jarvis. Now
You get
Jarvis
10 you get
Landry.
$10 for that one, Andrew.
Jarvis Landry hasn't been good so far this year. He's been a high floor guy, like he's getting points. He hasn't had more than 61 yards, and he hasn't gotten in the end zone.
Mate, he's hardly had any targets.
Yes, correct.
I don't know. I think he's caught all but one of his targets this year, which is great.
Yeah,
But he's just not saying, look, mate, he's coming off the hip surgery.
exactly. So this is
Yeah.
the thing. He's been easing back into fitness, and also his snap count's only been about 60 to 70%.
Yep.
So there's lots of room for improvement. Whether it'll be this week or not is another question. But Dallas, Dave puts it beautifully. Dallas has no secondary, and I do think that this will be a bit of a shootout. I mean, obviously Dak and that passing attack, we do expect a lot of points to be put
Yeah.
up. And if the
They actually
Browns
don't have a
compete-
secondary. They actually have a 4-man front and 7 linebackers. They actually have no secondary.
Man, half their linebackers are in the hospital. Gee,
Yeah,
I think they got Joe Thomas starting at inside linebacker.
It's not, it's not good. Jerry's going to be very upset this year.
Yeah.
Jerry's going to be very upset.
Dave says 36-32. Which way, Dave? Is that to the Browns?
Of course, it's going to be to the Browns. Okay, I'll give you my wide receiver. So I'm sort of shooting for the stars this week with my team. I'm going Marquez Valdez-Scantling up against the Falcons, mate. The Falcons secondary is that, that Spider-Man gif where they're all pointing at each other.
Yep.
That everybody uses. That's the Falcons. Look at when someone scores a touchdown. Wasn't it your guy? No, weren't you covering him? No, you were meant to be covering him. That's what the Falcons secondary's got no idea. Mate, granted, he will probably drop half the balls that are thrown his way. But, mate, the 3 that he catches will probably give him 130 yards and 2 TDs. That's what will happen against the Falcons this week.
Bloody
Mate, and look, last week against the Saints, mate, he didn't drop any balls. The balls were either overthrown or just, they weren't perfect balls. But he had the corners beat.
Yeah.
In New Orleans last week. And as I said, mate, the Falcons don't have anybody that can cover his size and his speed. Mate, well, I don't know what he is. He's 6'4", 6'5", and the dude moves. Like the dude's passed before you know what's happened.
Speaking of which, sorry, I know this is just like completely random. The Eagles signed Hakeem Butler.
They did. I know.
Tight end. Gee.
Yes. Hey, tight end premium.
Now,
in
you
leagues.
know what? He actually might find a bit of a niche at tight end, He could. The guy is.
I don't know. Mate, one thing I would have put down, I think, if I go and look through my notes, is the dude doesn't mind blocking. But then again, he's not blocking linebackers or he's not going to be obviously not going to be blocking the linemen because they have their own assignments. But I don't know how he goes. Like, he was all right blocking cornerbacks.
Yep.
And they're the biggest dudes going around. Like, some of them can hit.
But here's the thing with Butler, and I don't know if it's like a route running thing or what. But
He can't get separation. That's one of the reasons that they said they let him go. He just can't get. But that's not his gig.
No,
it's like you have at the Cardinals now. You have Isabella, who I'm not a massive and had a good week last week, but I'm not a massive rap for. And they have T-Rex arms. Christian Kirk,
yep,
running deep routes,
Right.
Like unless you put the ball into the spot, mate, do not throw it up, guys. Like
No.
mate, if you're running deep, sometimes there's a lot of guys in this league that don't get separation on deep balls, but it's just the contested catching and their ability to go up and get the ball, which makes them great. And that's what Hakeem Butler excels at.
Yes. I agree. It could be interesting, G.
So
Could be
anyway.
interesting.
You know,
Anyway, sorry.
I never understood left from colours. But anyway, yeah, I've got Valdez-Scantling. The Packers are projected to score 32 points this week. Adams, if he's playing, that's great. That's going to help him get to the 32 points. And as we spoke about, Lazard's having the core muscle surgery. So, you know, and the Falcons are ranked 30th against wide receivers. I think that if
30th?
mate, every year that I can remember, been playing fantasy, and you click on and you have a look at who the worst defenses against wide receivers, tight ends, and running, mate, the Falcons are going to be in the top 5. So they're ranked 30th. They're the two teams worse. So they're giving up 47.63 fantasy points per game. All right, let's move on to the tight end.
Yeah, hang on. Let's put Andrews here. So let's. He's got CD Lamb versus Cleveland.
I did have CD Lamb, Andrew, but the fact that CD Lamb had got hit in the knee and he looked terrible after that last week. And there's a reason that I'm blanking on his name. That scored the 2 touchdowns for
Gallup?
No, who had the 2 touchdown game?
Not Schultz, no.
No. Geez, I can't think of his name.
Cooper?
But CD, no, dude, come on. Are you watching games?
I
I just can't think of his name because I've got Alzheimer's. I've got a reason for forgetting names. 51 years old. But CD Lamb looked a little bit. Look, if I was going to put it, if he was my other pick outside of my next flex guy, he was going to be my flex guy, CD Lamb.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. MVS.
All right.
All right. Tight end, G.
Tight end. Yes, tight end. I've got Robert
Tonyan.
Yes, against. Mate, I am kicking the Falcons while they are down, and deservedly so. The defense is shit.
Thank you,
it's
Andrew.
shit.
Yeah, G.
Cedric Wilson. Thank you very much, Andrew. Yeah, Cedric Wilson. There's a reason that Cedric Wilson popped up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not a bad wide receiver, but yeah, CD Lamb got a hit to the knee, so he's still good to go. But yeah. I got Robert Tonyan. I'm just kicking the Falcons while they're down. He had 5 for 50 last week in the TD. Mate, look at the offense he's playing on. Look at the quarterback that he's got at the moment. They're on fire. The Falcons are giving up. I think
You don't have to say it.
24 points, 2-7 against tight ends. Oh my God. And usually there's only one tight end on the field and they're still giving up 24 points. 238 yards and 4 TDs already. Bang, done. Enough said.
Yeah, well, listen.
If you play the Falcons, start everybody.
Start everyone. I would not normally recommend a tight end in Green Bay, but maybe Tonyan is breaking the mold, and it could just be because they don't have many offensive weapons at all.
There's a little bit of that. Sternberger caught his first pass after like 400 tries of dropping the ball. Oh, that's not fair. He dropped a fair few in the first couple of games.
Yeah.
He caught his first one last week, and then he caught his second. So he's 2 for 2. He's on a roll.
Yep.
But yeah, like you said, that I don't think they've had a good tight end in Green Bay since Jermichael Finley, who I was a big rat for. Yeah. But he thought I'll take the $9 million insurance payout and I'll go live a comfortable life somewhere without getting destroyed on a football ground.
He bought about 20 cows, some ducks.
He would have made a lot more money if he stayed in the NFL. I reckon more than $9 million.
Oh yeah, I would think so. Hey, I forgot to read Andrew's tight end little notes, so let me read them. George Kittle back at practice, should play against Philadelphia. That's fantastic.
You want to do that trade? I can throw something in there for you, AJ.
Obviously, they were getting a little bit desperate in San Francisco with
don't blow me off.
Jordan Reed getting injured.
That was a good trade. That was a fair trade.
Without Kittle, they were going to be down to Ross Dwelly.
Yeah, good luck with Sam Darnold.
Mike Gesicki, 175 receiving yards playing Seattle. Mo Alley Cox. Jack Doyle returned last week and played 32 snaps and had no receptions. Cox has had 36 snaps, 3 targets and a touchdown. He looks good.
He's the new iceberg.
He is. He used to be a basketball player.
No, he's the new iceberg.
I believe.
He's Philip Rivers' new iceberg.
Yeah, he
And
is.
he's taking down the Titanic.
Drew Sample, only 1 reception on 1 target last week. However, played 64 snaps after the big week. After the big game the week before, or was it the one where Uzomah went out? Anyway, Logan Thomas has 24 targets so far, but only 94 yards. He's played over 50 snaps every game, but he's limited by his quarterback. Haskins looks terrible.
Dropped a few balls last week, but there was a few balls that were just poorly thrown. Haskins, mate, I know. Ron Rivera came out and said, no, we're going to stick with him. Look what happened to Cam Newton. Yeah, but Cam Newton came into the NFL and set the world on fire straight away. Dwayne Haskins ain't exactly doing that.
No.
Okay, Cam still had, a ways to go. But yeah, is it the old when the owner says the coach is safe? Is it the same when the coach says the quarterback's safe?
I think Haskins has got the look of a backup quarterback on.
Mate,
really without him.
Yeah, too many throws are not where they're meant to be.
No.
So we'll leave
yes.
it at that. So if you have Dwayne Haskins, I'd maybe go and maybe look at the backup quarterback if you might need somebody. Just stick him on your bench see what happens, and that would be
Alex Smith.
No,
yes, he's healthy. G.
I'd be too scared as a coach to put Alex Smith on the field.
No, really,
dude. After that, mate, he's lucky to be alive, isn't he? Because of his. Is he lucky to be alive? Was it?
It was just his. Oh, we're going.
Dude, that was.
It was his knee, wasn't it? That got shredded.
No, mate. That was a broken leg. Stopped the blood flow. Probably lucky still to have his leg.
Yep, there we go, Matt. Great minds. Alex Smith season.
No. I'd be too scared to put him back on the park, mate. And look, Ron Rivera brought Allen. What's his name? With him. Thank you, David. He did almost die.
It's Kyle Allen.
He brought Kyle Allen with him when he came across. So he
Kyle Allen.
Not. I think it's great that that he's come back from the injury that he had and almost dying. Thanks, Dave. And it's a good story, but I can't see him getting back on the park. Sorry.
If it was a Disney movie, G.
If it was a Disney movie, they go into the Super Bowl and the winner maybe they lose, and then he goes around and they throw roses onto the field like they did in Ice Castles. And he didn't win, but it's a good feel-good story in the end. He got that far.
Oh, he had necrotizing fasciitis. That's skin-eating disease. As his graft went septic and he almost lost his leg and he also nearly died.
Thanks, Dave. All that training's coming in handy, Dave. Well done.
Okay, tight end. I have Dalton Schultz.
I'd be a bit scary if I called 000 and Dave rocked up to my house, though. Without a beard, too. If you had the beard, I feel a lot better. But without the beard, a bit scary. It's like a Halloween.
He needs to be able to listen. He's a big strapping guy. He could put you over his shoulder.
He could. He could do he could do the fireman's carry, no problems at all.
The fireman's carry. Dalton Schultz versus Cleveland. I have.
Okay.
Now Schultz has done pretty well, filling in for Blake Jarwin, who's now on IR.
Yes.
He's 14 receptions for 147 yards and 1 touchdown on the season.
Are you reading this off your phone, or have you done research?
No, I've done research.
Okay.
Look, got stuff
Alright.
written down. Mind you, there's a lot of competition for targets in Dallas, which is, I mean, that is what it is.
Mate,
but-
who's the guy that does the sneaky block and then just sneaks out the back?
Yeah, exactly.
Dalton Schultz.
Exactly. So I think that he's a sneaky guy outside the top 12
Yes.
this week for sure. Yep.
And every week that goes past, okay, they didn't win last week, and Jerry came out and said, other people would have, good quarterbacks might have won that game for us last week. But every week that goes past, he keeps racking up numbers. His price tag just keeps going up.
Hell yeah. That's right.
Mate, Falcons.
Now, flex position, G.
Flex position. Okay, flex. I've gone with a wide receiver at flex because there's just so many. Running backs was a little bit harder.
Yep. Andrew's saying Schultz is at number 13. So, it's a little bit sneaky on my part.
He's done a couple of those tonight, Andrew, let me tell you. He's right on the cusp. Right on the cusp. You got one leg on each side of the fence, haven't you?
Yeah. Another porous secondary, Dave is saying, the Brown secondary, yes.
Yeah. Mate, don't try and compete with the Falcons, Dave. So my flex this week, I was actually going to go CD Lamb.
Nice.
And he would have been, if he's playing, I don't know how he came up after last week, but he would have been my pick. But because I wasn't too sure, I went with Preston Williams up against Seattle.
Nice.
Mate, because he's my boy.
He is.
You got to give your boy love. The other boy that I love sits on the couch and plays Call of Duty. Preston Williams is my other boy. So
Don't be
as I
harsh
said,
on him, G. He only plays 14 out of 24 hours.
he does. He does take the dog for a walk once a day for half an hour. So, and look, he's still look. He started off the season a bit slow. He had the one catch, 2 targets, 1 catch. What was it? 3 yards and touchdown last week. But mate, he's still coming back. He's still getting up to speed after the ACL surgery from last year. And we know, as we've already spoke about, this is going to be a game with the ball's in the air a hell of a lot. They're going to need Preston Williams. Mate, he might give you, 50-1.
Right.
From a flex spot. Who knows?
Perfect.
But,
Perfect.
let's face it, usually in the past, my flex spot might have been for a deep throw for the old Hail Mary, not that long ago would have been Devontae Parker.
Yeah.
And yet Devontae Parker's now inside the top 24.
Yes. Yep.
So, Preston Williams. Outside that would have been CD.
Very nice. Andrew's got Mo Ali Cox. Very nice as well. I've got MVS, who we already spoke about in my flex, G. So
Yep. Perfect. Perfect
news
spot.
there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So what we're going to add up the points for these, right?
We'll take everybody's. Have we got any people that people sent in? Did we quickly go through that? Some people gave the list.
Some people did. I don't know how quickly I can get them up on the screen, G. But Matt has got Goff, Hyde, Fournette, CD, Cooks, Julio, and Hooper.
Well, he's in trouble because Fournette won't be playing this week.
Andrews, we've heard. Let's see if I've got any others here. Neil's got Goff, Peterson, Rojo, Lamb, Jones, Renfro, and Cox.
Okay, so all Neils are like, number 25, number 12, number 13, number 20. Okay. Well done, Neil.
Hey, the rules are the rules, right?
Yeah, going out on the limb.
Okay, those are just the ones I can kind of put my finger on right now. So there you go.
Yep. Excellent.
Let's see. Oh, Andrew. Oh, sorry, that was his tight end was Mo Ali Cox. His flex is Robbie Anderson.
Number 26.
Who's at
Sure,
number
just scraping in as well. But because he's done so much work for us, we'll let him have the number 26.
Robbie
Oh,
Anderson has looked pretty good, to be honest.
He has. Well, he's the go-to guy in Carolina. We all thought it was going to be DJ Moore this year, but it's not. It's Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, fancy that.
Yep.
Dave Harrison Bryant. Now, Dave, I have to ask you because Harrison Bryant, I mean, what's going on in terms of his? That's what I have to look up. Is his snap count? Like I can see his numbers and they look pretty good. Gee, what have you seen of Harrison Bryant?
Well, I've got Harrison Bryant on a fair few dynasty teams. I liked him coming out.
Okay. I'm just looking up his snap count while you're not talking.
Well, I'm not. Oh, sorry. Do you want me to talk?
Just for a second. I'm just looking up what his actual snap count is.
I'm tap dancing as we speak.
Okay, let's.
I can burn some more Falcon stuff.
Harrison Bryant.
Burn some more Falcon stuff.
Wow, Harrison Bryant. Okay, so Austin Hooper had 54 snaps in week 3, and Harrison Bryant was next with 40.
What's going to take to find a 21 game?
He actually played 63% of snaps. So that's significant.
Is it the amount of snaps he's getting, or is it the quarterback only looks certain ways?
Well, it's fair to say Austin Hooper hasn't exactly set the world on fire.
No, he has not set the world on fire. And Dave disagreed with me when I spoke on the phone with him during the week about just that.
Right. Last week, 3-yard catch, 1 touchdown.
Yep, running from left to right across the screen too, across the back of the end zone. I remember the catch.
Dallas soft secondary looked to 2 tight end sets. But there's a lot of, I mean, you've got a lot of bodies, haven't you, in Cleveland? I mean, you've got, we're saying...
Well, Harrison Bryant is a far more athletic tight end than Austin Hooper.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Not as big, I don't think, like size-wise.
Yeah.
But, yeah, more athletic.
There you go. So his snap count has actually been increasing. 31, 30, and 40 snaps over the past 3 weeks. Only 2 targets per game, though.
Yes.
But you've got, I mean, targets, you're talking about Odell, you've got Landry,
hence what I said about the quarterback.
You've got Chubb and Hunt. You've got Hooper.
Yep.
You've got... Who's their third wide receiver?
I'm still not sold on Baker Mayfield, sorry, mate, as a quarterback. I think a far better quarterback, and Dave can put something up, I think a far better quarterback would do a lot more with what he has on that offense.
Yeah, look, we can only wait and see what happens. I mean, the Browns are doing pretty well at the moment, G. So
they're doing okay. Let's not say pretty
are.
well. They're doing okay.
They are doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing okay.
So let's see. It's also kind of fair to say that Baker Mayfield is quickly running out of goodwill.
I just the first week was dodgy, to say the least, up against the Ravens. The last 2 weeks have been better.
Yeah.
But too much pressure. But sorry, Andrew. But well, they're all players. They're all they're all on a team. But I'm more concerned about the way that he looks the second half. He looks better in the first half than he does in the second. So let's just leave it at that.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we might be coming to an end, G.
It's not a good way to finish on Browns, but it is what it is.
Yes.
We don't control what our people put up for us to talk about.
That's Odell's preference, isn't it? Finishing on Browns.
That's go. Well, thank you everybody for joining in. On behalf of AJ and myself, we'll catch you next time. Just stop it. Just stop. Just
okay,
turn it off now. Just turn it off.
Hey, thanks everybody. Thanks everybody who has listened in and posted a comment. Andrew, thank you so much for your notes and
awesome work
and comments and everything. It's been fantastic. And thank you everybody to yeah, what a wait. I probably should have left that out. Probably
It was good though.
thoughts.
I did like it. It was witty. It was quick. It was quick. Gotta give it to that.
Thanks everybody. Enjoy the upcoming week of football, and yeah, man, interesting times ahead. Let's hope that the Titans Steelers one is it's probably
Tigers lost.
oh, did they?
Yeah, that's all right. They didn't have the full forward plan tonight, I don't think. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We got a second chance.
Ah.
It's okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. Good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and enjoy your week. Catch you later. All right. There we go, G. I didn't do that properly.
No, you haven't done it for a long time. It's still going. We're still live.
Yeah, thanks, everyone. I'll hit end broadcast. See you later. Thanks, everybody.